Hey everybody, Sarah the Nobody Trader. It's 5/18/2025. Just gonna do kind of a weekly update, throw some numbers out there that I'm looking at. Not a lot's changed, but we'll go over that. This here's the disclaimer, which you should read. Everything here is just for education, and I'm just showing you what I'm looking at in the market. So we're looking at a daily chart of the NQ NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures contract, and in the other videos I talked about this, 450 or 455, 460 level here that they were going to struggle at. Excuse me. And we're still pretty much there. If we go to an hourly chart, you can see that we're just beating on it, trying to get over it. So now there was some news that came out on Friday about the U.S. being downgraded, which could really affect the markets overall. But there again, we just have to watch where they go. A lot of times I hear news that I think is good news, and it should go up, and the stock market goes down. And so the stock market's irrational, at least to me it is. So anyway, till we get above this and hold it, anything could happen here. This is bullish, but I would there again just be mindful. This is a big level, and technically we closed after hours. They dumped it on that news, so right now it looks like it closed around the 400 level. So just be mindful. Let's get some numbers here. Let me remove this. Sorry about that. I guess I should have had this ready to go. Let me remove. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Hang on. So the big levels that I'm looking at, 600 will be a big level. 21,600 if it does get up there, just because it's a big fat round number. There'll be a lot of orders, probably buy and sell stacked around that. But the main one that I'm looking at is the 22,054 area, if we make it up there. And then way up here we have the 22,655 coming back down. We have this 300 level, which has been working, as far as support. But there again, the 20,856 area is a big level. And way down here is the 20,259 level. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. We're for 1, 2, 3 days we just traded sideways in all this area. So like I say, the levels remain pretty much the same. So let's take a look at a daily chart of the SPY. And it looked like we gapped, or we worked our way right up into this 594.83 area, but we did not close above it. So that's a clue. We'll have to see what happens if they roll it over here, do a pullback, which I kind of expect. Typically when the SPY pulls back, everything pulls back, unless there's individual news on a particular company. So just be mindful of that. We could keep going north. So above the 594.83, we got 601.97. And then above that, we have the 609.06 level. We come back down. We have the 580 level, which will be good support if it does come in for a retest there. And then we have the 566 area. I mean, if we truly break down, fill this gap that I talked about, because there's a gap pretty much from this 576 area, yeah, down to this 567. So, you know, who knows when they're going to come back for it, but just be mindful. And like I say, the numbers really haven't changed. So we're still right there. Let's take a look at Tesla. See, we're seeing kind of the same thing all the way across the board. So we're struggling here at the 349 level, 340. What is it? Zoom in a little bit. $348.50 level. We did close above it, which is a good sign. Might try to keep going north. So the next big level above where we're at now would be the 371.77. And then I'm looking above that at the 395.15 if we keep going north. If we pull back, there's good support at this 325.11. Then all the way down here at the 301.62. So that's what I see there. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. Kind of the same thing, right? Everything's up against resistance, trading sideways. So everything's kind of the same. We're looking at the 135.71 level. This is kind of where looks like we barely closed underneath it. Below that, we got 127.07. Next big level down will be 118.48. And there's a couple gaps down here that need to be filled that they haven't got to yet. So, just be careful out there. Who knows what's going to happen in this crazy world that we live in. So there we are. We're consolidating, and it is bullish. So, the markets just love to kind of, I don't know how else to put it other than screw both sides. What they like to do is pop over these areas and then sell back underneath. In fact, if we look at the NQ, they did that this week. Whoops. I'll just get rid of that for now. We don't need it anyway. So on an hourly chart, right? Here was the consolidation underneath, which I didn't like. Right, they're soaking up orders in this area here, and then they run it back up in and they break it. Right, well, it fakes people out. Right, everybody goes, oh, okay, we got resistance. It broke. A lot of people get in, and then they start selling it off through the retest. And I mean, that was a 21,500, 21,300, and in the NQ, that's a lot of money, even with one contract. So. Whenever they're, just like they're doing right now, right? They're just playing around this line. We haven't really went anywhere yet. We're they're taking money on both sides of the level. So you always want to be careful of that. If we take it down to even a smaller time frame, let's look at a 5 minute. Oh, I'll have to put it on scalp. Let me go back and let me just throw a line. There, and now let's go to a 5 minute. All right, look at how we just keep trading, around this thing. And this was the first real break, I believe, yeah. And I was worried about that, right? Because they spent so much time hovering, messing around down here rather than just running straight up. So they run up, break it, rolls over, and down we go. And and I'm expecting resistance in these areas, right? When they're coming into them from the bottom, or they're coming from the top down into them. You know, a lot of times I get a good counter trend trade there. But when they're just hanging out right above it or right below it, and you know, it's normally off the table for me as far as a trade, because I know they're going to try to whip everybody out of the trade there. And you know, they keep doing the same thing. You know, it looked like we finally were going to break above it here, and then I'm assuming this is that Moody's news, I think, that came out, you know, at the end of the day, is why it did that. So who, you know, be careful out there this week. And anybody has any questions or anything in particular they want me to look at, I'm more than happy to. Just get a hold of me. Yeah, and I have a few new subscribers, so I want to thank you for that. And I appreciate you guys watching the videos, and have a great week. Good luck out there.